doing?
Yeah. What are we doing? Are we just in the water? I didn't even bring. Yeah, I didn't tell me.
Do you think in another life I could have been a bird?
Bird.
What do you mean?
I think it's because we around all these birds, bro. Like she want to be a bird. All the way out here.
Say I'm a bird.
You talking to me or him? I ain't no bird, bro. You might be a bird, but I ain't no bird, bro. You ain't got to tell her you a bird, bro.
No. Don't do it.
Say I'm a bird.
You're a bird.
Oh, you broke down, my boy. You a bird, huh? Just because of all these damn seagulls.
Now say you're a bird too.
We ain't got to do it, bro. Like I said, we just around some birds. You know what I mean? Yeah, we some birds.
If you're a bird, I'm a bird.
Wow. Why did y'all invite me? Look, man, I ain't no bird. But,
You know, we have a lot of expressions in the English language.
I don't even know what I'm saying.
What are we talking about?
Where'd that come from?
Most all of us use them every day.
I don't even know what that means.
No one knows what it means.
You know, we just say them as if they really made sense.
I mean, how silly is that?
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
What the f is he talking about?
Okay, then what's good with you? What's good with you? You know what it is, and you know who it is. It's me, Mario, and welcome to Appraise the Phrase, Origins of Everyday Expressions, where we're here to do three things: unveil the origin, confirm the meaning, and assess the value of common everyday phrases. 20's here. I promise you 20's here. I've been scouring the net to see what people think of our show, and 20 this, 20 that. I'm the big man. Picture on the right, but 20 this, 20 that. True, but 20 is here. What's good, 20? How you feel, bro?
I just want to let all my people out there know that I'm good, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just really good to be here. It's a blessing. This is something that we love to do, and to be able to do things that you love is the meaning of life.
The true meaning of life. We will be selling the true meaning of life and coming this fall. The meaning of life. We'll be selling you that soon here. But let's get into the show, man. How you feel though, bro? In real life, how you feel?
In real life, I'm good, man. You know, just got a lot of things going right now. But if you're not busy, you ain't doing nothing in your life. So I'm grateful for being busy and having a lot of things to do right now. But I can't wait till I don't have anything to do.
Right, because idle mind is the devil's playground. We will appraise that in season 3, probably, because I don't know how I feel about that in real time, just as I said it. Let's keep the show rolling, man. Me and 20 are rarely here by our lonesome, and so today is no different. So let me shout out a couple of friends of mine, newly founded friends, connected from the highways and byways of, I think, what is it? What is y'all, 90? Y'all got 90 down there?
95.
In Miami?
95.
No, 95.
95, right, 95. So we're connected. I got to go 90 to 95, or I got to go 75 to 90 to 95. So yeah, we're not that connected, but I fuck with these guys anyway. So let me introduce the host of Fancy Bread Miami podcast, a podcast that I'm newly listening to and I love. So it gives me that sense. So let me shout out and welcome Adrian and Edwin of Fancy Bread Miami podcast. What's up, fellas?
Happy to be here.
It's a pleasure to be here, man. You know.
Yeah. Tell us really quickly, first of all, how y'all feeling and what is Fancy Bread Miami?
Well, me, you know, I'm just striving, surviving, and vibing. This is Edwin, sir.
Edwin?
Like I said, striving, vibing, surviving. And it's hard to trust these women because they be lying, you know?
Okay. I feel like you went to the school of Wayne.
It's possible.
Like Wayne Carter. Wayne Carter would have said some shit like that, which is great. I'm
one of the co-hosts of the Fancy Bread Miami podcast, which really just focuses, in a nutshell, on the hospitality and food industry at the moment in Miami, because we are, you know, grassroots at the moment, but we're coming strong. And, you know, our style is raw and uncut and sincere. And we try to be interesting and funny and refreshing in an industry that can use as much of that as possible.
Refreshing. I'm with that, man. I'm with that. Adrian, you got any words, or can you do any better or add anything of quality?
Any better than
to
that?
Edwin's
My job is to bring some facts, is to bring some love, to bring some heart. The idea behind our podcast is just to help people in this industry to understand different aspects of it and become better servers, or for the people that are listening to it to kind of understand what's going on behind the curtains, kind of like a magician revealing its secrets. So if you are someone that works in this industry, you'll be able to connect with us and also to grow your set of skills. And if you're someone that's just going out to dine, then you'll be able to understand what goes on every time you sit down and dine.
Okay. I'm getting it. Like I said, I've listened to some episodes, but I'm truly getting it as they're on the show. I see you smirking, 20. You know them personally, so this is great. Let me finish.
You know what I'm smirking? No. I do know them. I do know them. But what I am actually smirking at is that I just want everybody to know that we actually read the comments. And I'm looking at Mario now, and I'm like, I forgot the guy's name that said it, but yeah, you always rock that Tigers hat. Like somebody put in the comments, like, "Yo, Mario don't never go nowhere with that Tigers hat." I'm like,
Hey, it's consistent.
The things are working. The things that we talked about are working. So look, one thing I do want to shout out about Fancy Bread Miami and Adrian and Edwin is what captivated me was just, allured me, a little bit of a lulling as well, is that you two have podcast voice, like solid. And I know out of the two of you that Adrian's going to be he's going to be the sponsor guy. He's going to do the copy for sponsors. I can, just the way you just sold that last bit, I'm like, oh yeah, make sure you're saying all the official stuff.
There we go, eh?
Thank you.
There we
You're
go.
the fine print guy. You're the fine print, Adrian. Yeah. Edwin will draw the sponsors. Adrian will land the copy, and y'all will continue.
Hey, you heard it here,
to
man.
grow and
You heard
rise.
it here.
There you go.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think
for
it's
sure.
all
Let's
about
get
the
into the phrase. Oh, go
dynamic
ahead.
between the two of us. I think that honestly, I'm very grateful that I have Edwin to do what he does, because the things that I do are just balanced by his banter and his personality and his character. So sometimes I may say something and it's just like, and he comes in and is like, let me say that in English.
Didn't land.
And then sometimes he just says something. And I'm like, let me tone that down. Give it a little bit of heart. Let me just, because that was a little hard. So it's all about that
It
balance.
really is. It's a tug of war.
It's all about finding
Yeah,
that
I
balance
like the
between the
tug of war
two.
that y'all
And
have.
I think it's really fun as now we're starting to branch out and bring more people into the show. It's really cool because we actually get someone in between that tug of war, and it's just very exciting. So I'm very excited to have this 4-man tug of war that we're going to be having here today.
Absolutely. I don't even know. We should rename the game if there's four. If there's a string, a rope that has 4. Who knows? But let's get into the phrase of today. Today's phrase was brought to us by Fancy Bread Miami, the minds behind Fancy Bread Miami. And whenever the guest brings a phrase and they're connected to a phrase, we tend to get like a real true blossoming of what we want to do when we dissect and we appraise. So let's waste no time in getting into our opinions. We have an opinion on tell me who you're with, and I will tell you who you are. Tell me who you're with, and I will tell you who you are. We will start with 20 as far as connections to this phrase. Again, I do have an opinion on this. Not super strong, not strong enough to run interference on our guests. So 20, set the standard as always, and we will run through the members here.
all right, no pressure. When I hear that, I feel like that's something like a parental or guidance, like a guardian would say to you. You know what I mean? Just to make sure that you're not out here running with the wrong type of people. It's one of those situations where you're trying to defend yourself. You know what I mean? Not just your action, but just trying to defend yourself. And somebody is saying you can't say you're like this if you're hanging out with certain people, or you can't. If you're judged by majority instead of individually sometimes when it comes to society. And it's just making sure that you're aware that just because you might be a good person, but if you hang out with a gang of thieves, you're going to get considered as a thief too as well.
Why are you hanging out with these thieves? All right. I don't know the hierarchy of your show. So I'm just gonna go with
Alphabetical.
Adrian because his name starts with A. No, there we go. Like
It's
I got
okay.
Adrian.
Bro, you about to break up this show already,
I know,
right?
bro.
Right now, you're
I
like,
would've
I see
said
why
with
we're
him,
gonna
but
here,
with
man.
him.
like
This shit is
No, no,
sabotage,
no.
but it's okay. We're gonna fight through it. We're gonna
I
fight
know,
through
I
it.
know. I'm like,
Already, dude.
how do I do this? I'm just gonna keep
Go
putting
ahead,
our names
hey,
in
go
a
ahead.
randomizer and then choose how. Yeah.
You goofy
Well,
bastard, go.
Thank you.
Hurry up before we change.
Well, I
our
mean,
mind.
I do have a big connection.
all right, Edwin, let's go. Edwin, let's
Go
see what
ahead,
you.
go ahead.
Well, I do have a big connection with this word, and I was kind of like the person that brought it up to Mario, because I recently reconnected with that word. This word originally came to me, like 20 here says, from my parents. You know, this would be a word that my mother would say to me just to kind of say, I'm keeping an eye on you, and or I kind of know what you're doing based on the people that you're hanging out with, or she wouldn't want me hanging out with certain crowds because of what it would mean to me, or the influence that they would have upon me. So she would kind of bring that up, and I guess it's something because I'm Puerto Rican, and in Puerto Rico, I guess it's kind of common to hear that phrase. In Spanish, of course, it would be "Dime con quién andas y te diré quién eres." So
Diversity.
yeah, so there you go, baby. You asked, and we brought it. So it would be used in that sense of way to say that the people that you're around you can, in a way, give people an assumption of who you are. Because I would say that this word over everything, it's a very assumptuous word or phrase that throughout it, you can be, because of the people that are around you, you can assume what kind of person the person that you're talking to is. So that's kind of like my connection to the word.
Yeah.
Appreciate that, Edwin.
All right, might
Round
as
us
well,
out.
man. I don't have any
Yeah.
personal connection to this phrase. I really I live life and just do whatever the hell I want. But it is true. I think it's consistent. If you ask a lot of people, a lot of this stems from a generational aspect of sort of parenthood, if that makes any sense, sort of a guiding phrase to ensure that my son or my daughter or my kids go through their everyday thinking well about what they do. That's how I feel in general about the phrase. Personally, I don't really have any connection into it, and I guess we'll get into that later. But that's just me.
Mm-hmm. Man, I appreciate that. Appreciate that. Thank you, fellas. So, a couple things I heard that I want to just point out and highlight, since that'll probably be my role today, is 20 with the parental. It does seem like a I don't want to say wagging the finger because that lends towards negative connotation, and I'm really trying to stay as neutral as I can to start. But it does sound like a hovering, the shadow of a parent over a child, at least. It feels like, man, assumption, big thing for me, Adrian. I battle with assumption because, I think there's a place for most, if not all things, and I try to, again, place things on the spectrum. So assumption is necessary. Sometimes intelligent people assume, but assumption based on, like, I really got to say, like, how far are you going with this before it's like prejudice? And then with you, E, I'm just with you on the like lack of overall personal connection to this because it would make me gather or work against my general ethos, which is like assumption. Yeah. Like, man, I'm about to see which one of y'all out of this group is doing that. Because you know what I'm saying? I do that by my day-to-day life. It's like I'm not really the whole group. I believe in archetypes because, like, for some reason, like, golf people dress like golf people no matter where they grow up. For some the memo's out. You know what I mean? Athletic people dress like the memo's out. So I get archetypes, but as far as assumption. So let's not waste no time, man. Let's get into the origin of this thing.
Hey Mario,
What's up, brother?
Before we get into the origin, I just want to say, like, no, it's all right, it's okay. Let them wait. Before we get into the origin, I would say this though. I've always because playing football was like my.
I'm talking to my son
before playing football.
Yeah, exactly. No, the fact that you input coming to America without allowing us
Come on, man.
to laugh.
You can't throw that out there. You got to wait till the comments, man.
Like, we wanted to laugh at that. But go ahead. Sorry.
I apologize. My apologies.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it's because I played football. It's like I've always had a group of people that are always like all of us were different. Even from like where we're from to the point even now, like all of the guys that I hang out with bring something different to the table. So it's like it's hard for me to say that I live by that phrase because majority of everybody is are I won't say on their own man, but just like they have different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And I feel like I attract more to people that are different from me than people that, like this. I attract more to different types of people than the same group of people. So
I'm with that. That's a pretty strong distinction. I think it's subtle, but in practice, like if you was to watch it, it's a very big difference. Like it's a subtle thing to say,
right.
but like I don't try. Like you're not always looking for groups of football players as opposed to, damn, this nigga thinks differently. Like,
but the point he's making, which I agree with,
Right.
is that he's a football player per se, but it's not even like he looks for other football players.
He beats women.
Non-football players connect with him because he has a vibe where
I'm with that.
he it's different. Like me, for example, my upbringing was very unique because I look like a white dude. I look like an Italian dude. Right?
A little bit.
That's racist,
Okay,
but I'm gonna let it slide.
You look spicy white.
Right?
Spicy white.
But like I grew up in urban
light.
neighborhoods with black friends, with Asian friends, and you know what I'm saying? Like diverse friend groups. So everybody I associate with, you could see me with a group of golfers, and I could look like a golfer. And you could see me with a group of football players, and I look like somebody who might be able to play tight end or something. Not to be racist, but I'm a light skinned dude and I got hands. I can play tight end, right? So it's like it really all depends on how you came up. Like I feel fortunate to have that diversity.
Yeah, that's real, and that's where the phrase kind of we're gonna have to see how strong it stands. Although it stood the test of time. So there's actually 3 versions of this phrase, and there's a couple more off the top of my head that I connected it to, birds of a feather, all that shit. But here are the 3 versions of the phrase that we're going to touch upon that connect with that. One is show me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. Another is tell me your company, and I'll tell you who you are. And then by the company you keep, I can tell what life you lead. Now that last one,
the last one is powerful.
I tell you what life you lead. Yeah, like you can. Yeah, okay then. But let's explore. Tell me your company. I'll tell you who you are. So let's take it to 1615. So the early 17th century. And Don Quixote shout out, Spanish novel Don Quixote, second one of the season. Miguel de Cervantes, that we learn, his name is actually Cervantes with a B, but the printer was like, I'm gonna go with V. So Cervantes, the second part of Don Quixote, which was written in 1615, included the passage with the non-standard spelling. And it was Sancho Panza, the character Sancho Panza, who was speaking to the main character, Don Quixote. And he said, here, quote Sancho, the proverb hits right. Tell me your company and I will tell you what you are. If your worship keeps company with those who fast and watch, what wonder is it that you neither eat nor sleep while you're with them? Now, I like it, and we'll come back to that. But Cervantes actually didn't take credit. Like, he spoke out on not taking credit for the saying by calling it proverbial. He said that when he wrote that phrase, that saying was proverbial, meaning it was a proverb before he wrote it, which leads to believe that it's out. It's out already before that. And the proof of that actually is from 1586, Guazzo Civil Convers. Petit wrote, tell me with whom thou goest, and I'll tell thee with what thou doest. So tell me with.
That's a lot of with and who is.
In the who. I'm telling you. Tell me who thou goest, and I'll tell thee what thou doest.
I thought you were trying to clear your throat or something.
For a minute I was. Hism hither.
I feel like this is Renaissance, man. I feel like we in class with Danny DeVito right here.
Exactly. But let me ask y'all, and we'll go in reverse order. So Edwin, you'll be queued up. But with this phrase, and I'll restate the passage from Don Quixote. What are your thoughts on Cervantes' use of the quote in the context around it? So again, tell me your company, and I will tell you what you are. If your worship keeps company with those who fast and watch, what wonder is it that you neither eat nor sleep while you're with them? Where you at with that? With that version, with that usage of the
Me?
prayer?
Well, I think, I mean, it's a sensational description because it's from so long ago, and it's from a time where, I mean, words have always had power, but back then especially, I just think it's a bit of a dramatic view, especially since you have, you know, a time where people connected with each other only with words and actions and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's difficult for me to say personally. I just think every version of it leading to the present is going to be slightly less dramatic, but I almost like I feel I'm telling you, I feel like I'm in class listening to this shit, like in a good way. Like it's just a very didactic, that's a big word,
Mm-hmm.
way of seeming
It is.
looking
I
at the
like it.
issue.
Welcome to the show.
Um,
Mhm.
Wait, you said did that dick?
20. I'm not. This is the first. This is the. This is the first intervention in the history of ATP. I'm intervening on.
yeah,
I'm intervening on that one,
Yeah.
Adrian. Adrian,
Very
your
scholastic.
thoughts
Well, I think Ed
on Don
hit very well on
Quixote's
that nail.
usage.
I find it very interesting that,
we're gonna talk about that. Don't worry about it.
like you said, that he didn't take any credit for that word or that phrase, is because of how common it was back then to also judge someone by the people that you were around with, especially like you said, if they offer praise to you or if they don't, or if you trust them as well or if you don't. I think it goes into what I wanted to bring about this phrase is that it is, if you want to use a negative connotation, you can say it's an assumptive phrase. But if you want to use it as a more positive, you can say it's a being able to deduct, like powers of deduction, right? Like you can ask a person certain questions and kind of in a way deduct who this person is, right?
Get to the
For example, 20 mentioned how he was playing football, or Edwin was mentioning how he knew people from different countries or different races, different beliefs, different religions. And if I were to ask Edwin what kind of friends he goes out and hangs out with, and he tells me that he hangs out with all these different people, then I would say, oh, then you must be a very open-minded person when it comes to new and different things, because you'll be able to listen to opinions that are different than the ones that you always listen to, with a more
Preach.
yeah. So
Preach.
again,
Preach.
if you want to use it in a
I like
positive
that.
way, you may be able to deduct.
You make the phrase stand.
Exactly. So you'll be able to kind of deduct what kind of person this is based on the questions that you ask them. And I think that's going back into what parents use these words for. Again, it's not just assuming, because if you communicate, then it becomes a deduction or you confirm what that person is. So I wouldn't necessarily say that it has too much of a negative connotation, but a way of understanding each other as well. But
I love that.
yeah, but it's very interesting that it's been used for so long, and especially like Edwin said, it's interesting that it was used in that time, which is completely different. Nowadays, we just see a picture and immediately deduct the same things without even asking a question.
Without that calm.
But back then, they didn't have pictures.
Thank you. That's
now
what I'm
it's
saying.
completely different.
Yeah, they had to.
Now you might say that a picture tells you the same, but we might just use it in a completely different or bad way.
Oh, we did that phrase
1,000 words.
already.
Did that, yeah.
If you like to
with
go
1,000 words, baby. I saw. And we'll pass it on.
20, where you at with that? Where you at with Don Quixote quotage?
No. I mean, like I said, in somewhat, I do agree. I feel like if you put as a society, majority of the people that are in the same society has the same mindset.
There you go.
It's just a situation where how is he saying it? You know what I mean? Like yeah, we've all learned that certain sayings may start off negative but then end up with a positive.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
We've learned that. We've learned that the transition of the evolution of these phrases, aren't just bound by the person who started it or the person that make it popular.
Got you.
But when it comes to a situation where are you saying that, are these all these people that you're hanging around are broke, or all these people that are hanging out, or something like that, or just different mindset. I feel like that doesn't take away the origin of it.
I agree. I
So
agree.
if it was a origin of negativity, just because we took it and made it a positive spin doesn't mean that
It's not
it's
negative.
not. So what we're doing here, we're trying to figure out not just the meaning of it, but how it was intended.
Yeah.
I think the truth behind the intent of it kind of gives you a little bit more than what the phrase is today.
Yes. Now, this is a perfect segue to where I want to raise up in Don Quixote's quote. The thing that stands out for me, it's the end. The context that is
Hmm.
laid at the very end, which he says, "What wonder is it that you neither eat nor sleep while you are with them?" So for me, it's like, because we're doing this thing, and rightfully so, we're doing this thing where it's like, I know me best. I know me best. I
Right.
know me best. So no, I'm not like everybody I hang with. I know me best. We all different. Me, 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 me. But where Don Quixote is saying is like, well, shit, when you with the folks that fast a lot and and what's the other thing they doing and watch a lot, then which means staying up, then when I see you with them, I'm not saying see you all the time, but when you with them, you also not eating and you also not
Right.
sleeping. So like I can
It's
go ahead.
no, I don't mean to cut you off,
What you
Mario,
did?
but like
What you did?
when you expound, what I'm saying, you know what it is, baby. It's ATP, baby. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You know how we do.
you know how we do.
Uh, but I appreciate you actually explaining that a little bit more, because that helps me say what I'm saying too as well. It's like, are you saying that I'm not like that outside of them, and I'm like that with them? You get what I mean? Like, am I eating chicken when they're not around, but when they're around, I'm like, nah, man,
Yeah,
I
I
can't
gotta have that
eat
chicken.
chicken tonight.
Exactly,
Yeah,
dog.
you get what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
in that sense, it's like what I feel like everybody's been trying to get out about this saying, and not calling it a positive negative saying, but it's like more of a checking. Like, I'm
Yeah.
going to check you. You get what I
Yeah,
mean?
where
Like,
you at when
like,
you at
Yeah.
when they doing that?
I mean, yeah.
Then where you at when that group is doing that? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
And for me to run it to negative, and I'll move us to the next origin, is like with football players and then the highly negative thing where it could be either womanizer, woman beater, harmful to women, whatever the fuck. And it's like with
any contact sport. I
any
would say
content,
any
yeah, yeah,
contact
yeah.
sport. So,
Where you
because
at when
that's how
your
they do it.
football friends are beating women up? If you're a football player and you're not doing that, where you
Yeah.
at when they doing that then? You know what I'm saying? And that's the check that I feel you're talking about, Tony. Like you trying to check me and say, well then. You feel me? All right, let's keep it rolling, man. Y'all are doing great. 1683, we're going to the book of moral instructions of a father to his son upon his departure for a long voyage. They also didn't care about titles, I'm assuming, because literally, like that one, if they're paying per letter to the publisher making out. Publisher good for the year. If you're like, I'm going to publish moral instructions of a father to his son upon his departure for a long voyage. Yeah, go ahead and take that. Here's 200 million to publish it. Now that was by Philip Sylvester Dufour. Again, in the late 17th century, so 1683. One thing I do want to point out is that this one is explicitly parental advisory. This one is specifically parental guidance. It is moral instructions from a father to a son while he about to leave me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So look out, son. And then Philip Dufour says this: consult prudence. So prudence is, for those that don't know, I just like the word, but it's like an awareness, a intelligent awareness, and she will teach you to choose your friends, which is a thing of the highest consequence, because we acquire generally the habits and passions of those whom we frequent. This was so well known to our forefathers that they did not scruple to pass their judgment upon any man when they were once acquainted with the temper of his companions. According to this old saying of theirs, tell me what company you keep, and I will tell you what you are. Now, Philip Dufour, before we dive back into the phrase, Philip Dufour was a French Protestant apothecary, a banker, collector, and author. And he was based in Lyon, France. Y'all know what apothecary is? Quickly.
No, sounds
Shake your head,
familiar.
no? Are y'all shaking your head?
Drug
No,
dealer,
it's a
yeah.
drug dealer.
Yeah.
They're in the medicine business.
We gotta bring that word back.
Yeah. We should, because you know what I'm saying, our local apothecaries are holding us down. I know out in Miami it's not legalized yet, so I know the local apothecaries, they get a lot of love out there. So my thing is here. So we got a moral instructions from a father to his son. Moral instructions from a father to his son. Now I ask this. I'll start with
Yeah.
20. I'll start with 20. Again, the word
My bad,
moral.
bro.
You're good.
It's just no.
Go.
Listen.
Go.
Uh, Apothecary, is that what it's? Is that what it's called?
That's what we're
Apothecary,
gonna bring
man.
it back.
Yeah, like your green light to sell medicine. Your green light to sell. You're not
Yeah,
a medicine company, but you sell medicine. Like it's literally
You're a
the
pharmacist. You're a pharmacist.
So yeah,
Okay.
a pharmacist. Yeah, but with no pharmacy though. That's the part. No pharmacy. So, 20. Would you trust the moral instructions of a dude who's at the time the drug dealer of the day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have, so I can't lie to you. I can't front because I'm on. I can't front because I'm on this podcast. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I've gotten great advice from people that apothecaries. I got great advices from apothecaries coming up in Miami, and I got even better advice from my parents. So it's like it's hard for me to say that. How about this?
Mm-hmm.
If I feel like me as a person, I get what I need out of the people that I'm around, and if I don't need it, then I'm gonna just let it be.
Yes, that's
Like
called
I get,
intelligence. But yeah, I got you.
I get, yeah. I'm just trying to make sure that everybody understand it. I get what I need from the people that I'm around, and when I say that, if I'm hanging around people that aren't society's sweethearts, you know what I mean? Like just because I'm hanging around them doesn't mean I don't have to be, you know, uh, negative member in society.
Got you.
But that doesn't mean that those people that are negative members in society uh, aren't trying to make their way through a situation that's holding them down, or that's oppressing them, or that's putting them in that situation. You know what I mean? Like I know a couple people that have literally been put in that situation where their whole home has been stripped, and it's like make a way out of this now.
Yeah, and you
You know
got
what
to
I mean?
find
Make
it.
a way out of this now. And it's like, do you tell that person, nah, man, nah, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that. Don't, you know what I'm saying? It's a better way. Like it's so much you can say, or so many phrases you can give people to make them feel like, oh, they're doing something wrong, as opposed to, damn, this dude is doing this and he's been doing it for about 30 something years. And it's like, who am I to say that that's wrong? Or he doesn't have the footprint for his life, for his journey.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
With that, I got you. Appreciate that. So you trusting old Philip Dufour. How about you, Adrian? Where you at with his usage of it and his whole explanation, his rundown of like how we are habit building, passion building people from those we frequent?
I'm totally up for it, and I I understand that this word or phrase has definitely changed throughout the years based on how connected we are now and how more available knowledge is to us. I would imagine that by that time, where we didn't have televisions, radios, and all this technology that we have today, the knowledge that you seek would come from people. So it would be very important to know who you hang out with, because those people will be more prone to influence you. So uh, I've seen lots of famous or quote unquote successful people today, doing clips and about stuff saying, for example, that if you hang out with five people that are successful, that you're going to be the sixth person to be successful. If you're going to hang out with five people that are rich, you're going to be the sixth person that's going to be rich. And if you hang out with five idiots, guess what? You're going to be the number six idiot. So that would definitely be more in tune with yesterday as to the people that you were around with, because the data that you get, the knowledge that you find, or anything that is new to you comes from other people. Nowadays it comes from everywhere, and that's how this phrase changes or amplifies itself today. But keeping it to that era, I would definitely say absolutely it would be very could you trust that person? Yeah, probably that's one of the closest friends you got at the time. And who else is gonna and you trust this person? So whatever this person tells you, you're gonna be like, regardless of what he or she does, you trust this person. So I would definitely be influenced by that person. And before anyone says, I heard this Chinese proverb. It was very interesting how it says that if you take a rock, something that's unchangeable, unmovable, and you just leave a water droplet just constantly hit that rock, eventually that rock will change its shape. So even the things that are meant to not be changed will eventually do. So let's say that you hang around a group of people that they're all vegan and you don't eat vegan. Eventually you might try a dish that's completely vegetarian or vegan. You might try it.
Hey,
and
man,
not saying that you're going to start changing
for
completely the way you eat, but you might taste it. And that's little by little, that's influence.
You, man.
Go.
Let me tell you, Adrian.
It definitely goes back to the main quote, though. You know.
Yeah, well, when you're doing it when you with them, and I'll tell you, and this is why this is perfect. When I'm with a PYT now, whatever they own, I'm on.
what?
Whatever they own,
but that's
I'm
just
on.
That's
okay,
just
if we
smart.
having vegan,
whatever you about, I'm about.
That's
what
just
you
smart.
watch? What you want? Lifetime?
That's
man,
just
throw
smart.
that Lifetime on, man. I'm about that shit.
Just smart.
Which is,
you want to watch?
Edwin.
You want to watch overly sensitive female, targeted show? You watch that? I'd be like, hell yeah!
I'm 6 episodes in, shorty. I'm already 6 episodes in, baby.
But I'm gonna bring it there.
What's up?
Very quickly, finish the review.
Very quickly,
Edwin, real quick. I got a specific question for you, Edwin, and then expound. There's a part where my man Dufour says, our forefathers, they did not scruple to pass judgment upon any man they were once acquainted with the temper of his companions. So, I don't even get, I'm judging you off rip. Y'all know what time it is when I'm hanging around your boys.
It's a harsh world.
Yeah, where you at with
in general,
that, man?
let's think about this comment. Let's go back 1 second and think about the phrase, right? I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
The connotation for the phrase is often negative because it's used in that way. But if you take a step back, the phrase is actually just neutral. However you see it and utilize it is how the phrase really gains power. I think if you asked me if I was going to trust this dude, this is a father speaking to a son, isn't it? So the way I think of this, I think of this shit as like a video game. This is like, this dude is putting a cape on his son and throwing him on a horse and arming him with moral fortitude to deal with the slightly unscrupulous world that he lives in, right? I would trust him 100% because it is a harsh world because you get judged before you even breathe just based on what people know about you.
Hey, you know what?
Right? Based on how you get judged immediately. So this dude, his father is a drug dealer. He's probably a bartender and a mechanic, and he probably owns a strip club or something. But that just means because he's cash only.
Cash only.
Cash only.
Yes. Yes.
This is a different time. This is a time where, this dude lives in a world and he's got multiple PhDs. Think of it this way. In a world where there is no school and everything is super harsh. So hell yeah, I trust him. Because it's a harsh world. Because that last thing about not having scruples, about judging people that you know immediately is a harsh world. And he's arming his son with things to survive.
Man, be around good people because you might lose something if you around the wrong. I'm with that. All right, let's jump to another Phil, Lord Chesterfield, Philip Starhope
my boy,
Chesterfield.
My boy. We used to hang out back in the day.
You feel me? Get you a Chesterfield if you don't have one. He wrote a famous series of letters to his son regarding proper manners and etiquette in the UK. And this was mid 18th century, so 1747. In this letter he wrote, people will, in a great degree and without reason, form their opinion of you upon that which they have of your friends. And there's a Spanish proverb, take me back to the Spanish folks, Don Quixote, which says very justly, tell me who you live with, and I will tell you what you are. One may fairly suppose that a man who makes a knave or a fool of his friend has something very bad to do or to conceal. Now, before we get back to that, again, let's talk about Philip Chesterfield, Lord Chesterfield. He was a British statesman, diplomat, a man of letters, and acclaimed wit of his time. So he was very, very highly esteemed and considered very smart, one of the smartest people at the time. And you know how the UK do, though. Like, he probably told people, I'm the wittiest man of this time.
Yeah.
You better repeat that shit. So, with that, I have a question for y'all again. Do you judge folks based on their friends? Do y'all judge folks based on the friends that they keep, like new friends, or you know what I'm saying? I listen to Fancy Bread Miami episode, and you know what I'm saying, the new hostess comes in, you know what I'm saying?
Don't talk to me about hostesses,
Now
bro.
you wanna
Don't talk
finish
to me
your
about
time
hostesses,
out.
man.
Sorry, man, that's probably a bad time. And you go out and you see how her friends act. You judging her based on her friends? Ed?
I think it's the responsibility of an open-minded, cultured person.
Oh wow, who
I think
coached
it's the
you?
responsibility, if you call yourself a cultured, open-minded person, to battle against those preconceived notions. But it's like anything, you get bombarded with all these things, so nobody is perfect. Nobody's perfect, you know?
Yeah.
The same way you could say to yourself, "Oh, I would never go against my morals," but you chilling with a bad chick, and she's like, "Yeah, let's go to." I'm like, and you like, "I would never go there." You're gonna go there. I mean, you're gonna find a way, right? But I try to battle against those things because it is a constant battle. It is.
Do you judge her friends if her friends wilding out?
Judge her by her friends?
friend group.
Depends on how long I've known her. If I don't know her,
Oh, all right,
depends on how long I've
Adrian.
known her.
Yeah, right.
All right, Adrian.
Depends on how long I've known her.
Okay. Hey, that was some.
The world title in the world record for hurdles.
Yes, that was you did. I'm talking about back to back.
What did I do?
Goals. Like first answer was world record. Came back on the 110s. He hit the 200 hurdles. Was like, all right, I'm gonna win that one easily. Came back, was like, hey yo, run that 110 hurdle. And then the second time, he's like, I can beat my last time. I can
definitely beat my last time.
I don't even know what's happening right now. But yeah.
It's okay, man. It's okay. You're going to re-listen and you're going to realize what you did. Adrian, what do you just, same scenario, new hostess, already get through the phase of like, all right, I'm going to chop it up with
I'm going to just throw you a question.
After hours.
Because I'm going to go deep into this. That's what I want to do.
That's a fucking.
Go ahead,
this is why I wanted to bring this in particular, because I believe that the connotation or the power in this phrase today, it's because right now we're very connected and disconnected through this dating world.
Now we got one more round of origin. But
We're gonna make this one the best one. You know how dating is nowadays with all this social media, et cetera, and how disconnected we are, and how quickly we are to make assumptions of people just to get, to justify to the ends justify the means. And I would say that knowing who your friends and your family and your significant other are definitely give you an idea of what this person is going to be like. Because, for example, if you ask a person, "Oh, are you very family oriented? Do you still live with your parents, or do you live far away from each other?" If that person tells you that they're very close to their parents, let's say a female, she's like, "Oh, I'm very close to my parents and I live with them," then you might say this person is going to have a lot of family values, right? This person might be seeking to have a more long-lasting relationship, et cetera, versus a person that tells you, "No, I barely speak to my family. They live in another state. I don't even know about them." Then this person is more likely to just hang out. Now, this person, you ask them, "Do you have a lot of friends?" And I mean, like close friends, people that you hang out with, you talk to it on a daily basis, et cetera, et cetera. If this person says no, then you might assume or deduct that this person might be a bit more clingy when it comes to a relationship. And especially if they tell you, "No, I don't have a lot of friends, but my mom is my best friend," you might say, "Whoop, wait a minute," right? Versus a person tells you, "No, I don't talk to my family much, but I do talk to my friends all the time." Then this person might be down to be a lot more doing a lot more fun things, doing things outside of the box. So you see how by deducting or by asking, like how close you are with these people or how many people are around you, you might say that. Because I say family and friends and family are the salt and pepper to life. Your significant other is the sugar, because that thing can make a dish, but it can also give you diabetes, baby. So
what does someone having their mother?
So I can make sure that part.
What does someone having their mother as their best friend indicate to you?
I will not answer. I'll plead the fifth.
You said that if someone has. You showed a lot of emotion when you said if someone has their mother as their best friend. What does that indicate to you? If someone's mom is their best friend.
For me, it's 90-degree divergence. There's no middle ground. It's either one way or the other. That's what I mean. In that either they are like they were raised so well and they're so with it that they can see from the lens of wisdom, time, experience. Because like they
I'm setting up hurdles for y'all now because I was fucking with me. Now I'm setting up hurdles.
Yeah,
Put some hurdles up.
Now, see, podcast.
That was trying to play me.
Listen, bro, I plead the fifth. I don't know about you. I'm like, I plead the fifth.
No, I'm gonna answer. So that's that one. So that's the one I'm like, but you have to have a defining way to figure this out. The other one is you're one step removed from cat lady. Like, damn, your mom the only person that can tolerate you. That's called unconditional love, my baby. And I don't know if I can sign up for that. I don't know if I can sign up for somebody where your mom is your best friend to the point where like everything else seems so scathing. Like, fuck that. I'm not doing that. So
yeah, just
that's where I'm at with that, Ed. I appreciate
to piggyback
that.
and help you out on that one.
I'm
gonna back you up on that one. I would say again, I say friends and family are the salt and pepper, and I say family is the salt because too much salt can actually kill you too. Because I've seen and I've met a lot of people who dedicate their lives to taking care of their family members. Very admirable and respectable. Yeah. But to those seeking a partner, that does say a lot about, like, do you have it in you to be with a person that has to take care of their parents as well? So again, it all comes to be like, tell me who you're with, I'll tell you who you are. Because again, if this significant other, this girl that you're meeting is taking care of her mom or her grandma on a daily basis, then that's kind of like the life that you're going to have to live with as well. So you're going to have to make that decision and say, is that what I want? Like, because obviously if you're looking for a girl that treats you as her primary objective or care, then that person will not be suited for you. So that's what I was trying to say. By
20 real quick,
if your mom is your best friend,
got you.
Are you cool with that?
I got you. No, I liked how you ooped it. I was willing. 20 real quick, succinctly, bro. Give me the raw yes, no. Do you judge folks by their friends? I need you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Depose him. That was a deposition answer. He was coached by his lawyer. It's yes or no answers only. Christopher, yes or no answers only. Remember. Yes. Thank you, dog. I do too.
Did that go in? Did you guys hear it? Yes.
The second one was serious.
Can you say that again, Mr. Williams?
Yeah, right.
All right, last bit. Let's get into my folks, my German folks. I have an affinity toward German folks. Lived there for 3 years, basically. So the major German literary figure, Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, he died in 1832, so he said this before then. A collection of his works published shortly after his death were called Maximum and Reflexionen, which is just maximum and reflections. Like, smart guy, wrote some shit down. Somebody took all the shit he wrote down and put it into a book and said, this is what this guy was thinking about. Now, before I say what he said, I'm going to talk about Wolfgang von Goethe. He was a poet, German poet, playwright, novelist, scientist, statesman, theater director, and critic. And he's widely regarded as the greatest and most influential writer in German language. Now, understand that we, as a society, revere the Greeks and the Germans. Like, in historical society. Like, obviously we revere the Egyptians, but that's on some like weirdo, like, I don't know how much credit I can give black folk shit. But as far as like how we honor folks, Greeks, Germans. So this guy is considered the most influential writer in German language, and his works having a profound and wide-ranging influence on Western society, Western library, political and philosophical thought that we continue with today. So this is what this man said. I'm going to say it in German because anytime I get to practice German, I will do it. Don't use it, you lose it. So he says, sage mir mit, wenn du inkst, sie sage ich dir, wer du bist, weiß ich womit die dich beschäftigst, so weiß ich, was aus dir werden kann. And he said, tell me with whom you Tell me with whom you associate, and I will tell you who you are. This the one. If I know what your business is, I know what can be made of you. Now, that's where Western society went with it. So let's go. I'm starting with 20. Give me your interpretation of, if I know what your business is, I know what can be made of you. I need to know what y'all think of that. If I know what your business is, I know what can be made.
I feel that one.
No, man. That one hit a little stronger for me than the actual show me who you with type of deal, because that's something that you accept, because it takes more effort to make that your business than actually have loyalty or have some kind of camaraderie with different type of people. You get what I mean? Like they say you don't choose your family, but you choose your friends type of deal. But you also choose your business too as well. And it's like in that sense that you're made that acceptance of, hey, I'm down for this. This is what I'm down for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if it's whatever it is, if it's like okay, I feel like the number one job that kind of goes with this is like accounting. Like
hell?
say you're an accountant for the mob or accountant for whatever the case may be. Yeah, if you just put accountant, it's like, it's not that bad. But when you put accountant for the mob, now you're a criminal, bro. You know what you're doing. You know you're laundering money. You know you're washing money. You know this, da 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 da. But that right there kind of solidifies that you've accepted that criminal lifestyle by being an accountant.
You voluntarily and consciously chosen a course of actions that lead other people who are observing you to no other conclusion other than the one that they're going to make.
Other than the one they're going to make. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's assumption no more. If that's the case, I don't think that's.
It's not about
assumption no more. Yeah.
He's at the back. Exactly.
Observation.
He and his boys are at the basketball court, and he's on the side on his phone. He might not play basketball. His boys might play basketball, but he's just there chilling with them. As different than people see you actually playing basketball.
Exactly. So from the phrase, it's like, okay, yeah, you run with the basketball dudes, but to the second part of Goethe's phrases, but you ain't about. I could fairly say you ain't really about ball though, huh? Like I could fairly say that about dude, even though he hangs with ball players, but you ain't really about ball. I know what I could. So I know that motivating you wouldn't be let's go hoop. I know that ain't gonna get you. I can't make nothing out of that. Ed, let's go. How you feel about
that same way? I mean, I think this particular reference speaks more deeply to the core values of an individual, because at this point, there's no denying who you are, because actions speak louder than words. I don't know if you've ATP'd that before. I'm sure you have. I only saw a couple episodes. You motherfuckers got 3,900 episodes. I ain't got no time to watch
season one.
Episodes.
That was season one.
So apropos. So it's like that's at this point there's no denying, because actions speak immensely about your character. And at this point, if somebody's seeing you play basketball, you play basketball. You know, it is what it is. But at this point, it's not even so much that you're playing basketball. It's even deeper. You're playing basketball, and people could tell that you're kind of nice. So you've been playing basketball for a long time.
Exactly.
It's very specific. It's not like you're out there hooping and you suck. So people might, an even more open-minded person could say, "Oh, all right, he's still not about that life. He's just trying to, chill with his friends."
Yeah.
No, like you out there playing and you crossing people up and you nice and you got a shot on you, like you about that basketball life at this point. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Right. That's how I feel about this particular phrase.
For sure. Got you. Adrian, where you at with it?
I'm glad I stopped earlier, because I can bring this part of the point now. Another thing that I consider bringing it to nowadays, correct? Because again, I think that this is mostly used as an assumption for dating nowadays. And one would say that what you do also says a lot about who you are. And in that case, you bringing it up as a guy who does evil or etc. But people might quickly assume that based on the job that you do, you might have certain skills or a certain personality or character to yourself, right? If someone tells you that they're a baller and they live in a certain state, then you might think, oh, then this person does well, right? Or if you say, well, if you're a baller but in a different state, you'll be like, well, I guess he's not really that good of a ball player. Because one could assume based on what you do and where you do it, that the person that you are, or the quality of the person that you are. Another thing that I would add on to that are your beliefs. Your religious beliefs would definitely add and say, oh, is this also the kind of person that I want to surround myself with? Your hobbies, the music that you like. Because again, the one person that I think that influences you the most is your significant other. Because we all here agreed that if she liked to watch rom-coms, everybody here going to watch that rom-com, baby. We in there, right? So that person influenced you a lot. We influenced you a lot. So
we're talking about pre-significant other.
Exactly. So let's say, for example, you're meeting this girl, and she's like, "Oh, I'm into X kind of music." And you ask yourself, "Do I have it in me to be going to those concerts? Do I have it in me to listen to that music on the car, or at home? Like, do I want to wake up to that? Like, and you think about it, you're like,
you gotta vet that out.
because that's a decision you have to make. So again, all these things influence, and I'm bringing it to today's connotation because the reconnection that I had with this phrase, obviously the connection was my parents, my mother in particular, but the reconnection that I had with this word was an ex of mine that she did send it to me because she didn't like particularly some people that I would spend time with, and that's where I started seeing that and saying, oh wow, I understand now how certain things around me that I do or that I surround myself with may have a connotation for people to assume who I am or what I do. So it's worth sometimes just like zooming out and looking and taking a look at that perspective to say, oh wow, this might be sending the wrong message about myself, or you have to clarify that as well.
Dog.
So do I think that what you do in a way may be used to judge you or define you? Absolutely, we do it all the time.
I have a question for the three of you.
Yeah,
I have a question.
What's up?
I've been thinking about this, summing this up. Now, the phrase is, in general, tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. Now, if I could modernize that, thinking in my head as what I'm going to be like as a father, like the father preparing his son for his journey. The way I would finish that phrase today to make it contemporary for me personally, this is the whole phrase for me. Tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are, but that doesn't tell me who you're going to be. Does that make any sense to you?
There you go.
Because
it does. It does. I wouldn't add it personally.
Exactly. Like for me, who you are, what you're doing with all these people, all these things we're talking about, to me, I feel like that's a present moment. Like me, I grew up with smokers, cigarette smokers, and drug users and alcohol consumers. And I didn't take my first drink of alcohol till I was 26. I've never I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. Right? And whatever I do recreationally, I've only started doing it super recreationally.
You be doing it in
exactly.
Michigan,
So my point is just like who I was with growing up. You would have thought I was going to be a knucklehead, a drug user, and I never turned out to be that person. So for me, it's not tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. For me, it's tell me who you're with and I'll think something about you, but that doesn't limit you to what you're going to be. That's how I feel.
I'll get that. I feel that. I'll piggyback off that real quick and move us on.
Or you could just, I'm so sorry, Mario. Go. Just to kind of make that as like, or you could just be like, who you're with doesn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, doesn't determine who you're going to be.
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to
you know what I mean? Like in a layman's sense, it's what Ed's trying to say. Who you're with doesn't determine
exactly
who you're going to be.
Absolutely, I agree with that 100%. And
go ahead, Mario. My bad.
No, you good. You got. Thank you, because like phrases have to be in some way succinct. So thank you for doing that. That was just a little expertise he put on the table. I appreciate it. Good job, Tony. What I would say is that like to support what Ed was saying is I come from in Detroit. I come from one of the worst schools in the state, and one of the like, you know what I'm saying, I don't want to say one of the worst neighborhoods. There's crazy neighborhoods out here, but it's not like that. Like don't I can say it, y'all can't type of thing. But I wasn't, truth be told, like once they saw that ball was a ticket for me, for real, football was a ticket, who I was with protected me from things that they were doing that we were exposed to. They're like, no, you can't. This is a no for you, bro. This is a no for you. You can be aware, but this is a no for you. I had to, you know what I'm saying, truth be told, my senior year was the first time I ever, you know what I'm saying, smoked, because I had to little nigga, my friends like, hey man, like, yo, quit telling me what I can and can't do, bro. Like, and past that. You know what I'm saying? Because they like, nah, nigga, you going. You on your way. So it is in a way, like, it's not about, it's undersells. The phrase undersells, and that's where I stand with it. So Perfect segue to let's appraise this thing, man. Let's appraise this thing. So we're gonna grade it out. 3-part grading categories, 4 A through F grading scale. First, I'm a bow out. No. I'm gonna go, and then y'all gonna. I'll do power. Power is the impact when it's heard, said. 20's gonna get speed. Does it flow off the tongue? And then Edwin and Adrian, you guys are gonna come together. You can talk amongst yourselves out loud, but come together for one Fancy Bread Miami guest preference grade, and that's all things included. Now we know the meaning, the origin, y'all's personal feelings, y'all personal use, all that stuff. So I'll start us off. Power grade.
Would it be okay
A through
for me
F.
to jump in before? There was something I kind of wanted to mention about this phrase to kind of like bring it together.
Be quick about it, brother.
So another phrase that I found very similar to this one was "you are a product of your environment," which was kind of like very similar to it. And I just want to say I understand that there's always sides to any situation, any choice that a person is presented to. You always have one of three. You always accept it, deny it, or change it, right? So if I see you hanging out with the wrong crowd, you could be flying with them in that sense. You could be not and just be in the wrong crowd, or you'd be trying to learn something from it in order to change it. Because I met a lot of people that they say, oh, I wish I could do this or do that, but I just don't know the right kind of people to do it with, and I just don't want to do it on my own. Because we are creatures of habit, and we're also social creatures. So we like to go to places, at least with one person that we can roll with. So all I want to say is that not necessarily this brings an exact truth to who you are, but at least opens up the ability to have conversations about this. Maybe you sit down with a significant other or someone that you want to be, hopefully you have something to create with. And when you ask some questions about how, your family or your friends, then you can also ask, would you say that because you have this connection with your family that you're this kind of person or you're this other kind of person? So it's just, I hope that when people take this, they understand that you can have deeper and more meaningful conversations with the people that you're trying to connect with by just asking the right questions, and instead of assuming so much, to just get to the truth of it, and that will definitely make you something better. That was my message behind it.
Hell yeah with that.
Sorry.
Thank you for TED Talking. So what you actually just did was appraised it. So what I'm gonna do, because I'm a magnificent host, is allow Edwin to add in his 2 cents, and then y'all can bring me the guest preference grade, because that's basically just you told us how you feel about it, dog. In that explanation, you just ain't graded. So Edwin, where you at with it? And then y'all agree what grade y'all have to.
So like I gotta grade it like how I feel in general.
I'll leave this one to you, brother.
In general, now. Oh, he giving you the
my
power
general
to grade, bro.
He's a president.
I would say A through F. I would say this phrase gets like a medium well to me. Like I'll eat it, but I don't prefer it. Like I don't need it.
Look, man, we're on Appraise the Phrase, brother. I need A through F.
You said give us a fancy bread appraisal.
Appraise the Phrase. 1 through 10. I do 1 through 10.
No,
A through F. Okay.
F.
Yo, this show is hostile. I like this shit though. I would say I give it a. I'll say I give it like a C. A C.
Wow, I didn't expect that. Wow.
Okay. Look at Adrian's face. Adrian's face
are
like
C. Are you right?
I don't really fuck with it, but I mean I respect other people's opinions.
Well, Adrian, I got to give you a chance. Like, I'm gonna stamp the C if you forever hold your peace, man.
Adrian's like, not my phrase.
Not my phrase.
I think you know how I feel about it. I still abide by it, and I still go by it. You know.
So what do you say?
It really.
So what grade do you give?
In the importance of the word, you mean like how we're using it from now on?
Everything, your general feeling overall.
I think there's I think it speaks truth. I think that it allows itself to.
You did this part. Give me the grade.
I already did. My grade
A through F.
You know what? I'm gonna give it a B.
A B.
I think you held back, but I'm not gonna keep pushing you.
That's
a C plus. C plus.
I say a C. I say a D plus. I feel like you passed, but barely.
I give it.
You guys definitely ain't trying to get.
No, I give it a median.
All right. Let me get in here real quick. Power grade. Look, it has power. The theory has power. The concept, the essence has almost immeasurable power, right? The phrase itself is iterated in so many ways that the specific phrase has limited power to me. Because you're going to hear it in other ways. Even I think the most powerful one, Goethe's, came 100 years later, and he added something that was the more sprinkle of the essence that we needed, which what your business is what I can do with you. So With power, I'm gonna give it a C plus as well because the essence of it makes it powerful, but the exact wording doesn't. So,
Do you think I was going to grade it higher or lower?
all right. I thought you were gonna go higher just because you found a lot of ways to make it work, but still, but it's your personal. I like that. It personally, you like, yeah, I don't fuck with it, and that's good because that's where we be at. And we haven't had a lot of phrases this season where people don't fuck with it, so I'm glad.
I mean, I do, but I don't.
20 speed.
C.
Exactly. That's why I thought it might be. Yeah, and C makes sense. 20 speed, brother.
Oh man, definitely a D on speed. It's
so long. Pause.
Huge phrase, bro. Huge.
Nobody likes this
huge
shit,
phrase.
man. Nobody
Huge
likes
phrase.
this.
And not only is it a huge phrase, every aspect of the phrase is huge. It's like it's a two-parter. It's like a to be continued. Show me who you are. To be continued to next week. And I'll show you who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like one of those type of deals, man. And it's not saying that no, guys, viewers, this is not us saying that this is a bad phrase or a good phrase. Just strictly on general speed of saying
the value
of
it, the categories. But yes, that's all.
Yes, how many syllables is in it? That this is what our speed grade is. Mm-hmm. Not saying that this is a bad phrase because honestly, I feel like in more of a guidance aspect, it's a great phrase.
Yeah.
Because it allows you to be aware of your surroundings. It allows you to be aware of who you bring in your circle. It allows you to be aware of the direction that you want to go in life.
Yeah.
So when I say speed grade, it's definitely a D. That's going to be my mark grade for that. But I just want to side note and say that this is definitely an important phrase for the youth.
Gotcha.
Now, when you go in the aspect of what Edwin said, it's like the people that you're with is really not. It doesn't really determine how you turn out. That I can personally agree with that because the people that I know people from 5th grade. I've been blessed to know people that I've known since elementary school that I know today.
Yeah.
But when people ask me about my core group of friends, it's the people that I became a man with.
Mm-hmm.
And those are the people that really kind of stick out when it comes to who Chris is as a person.
Yeah.
And so I can kind of contest to the saying, but in a general statement, I can honestly say that, yeah, you're right. It's more of a halfway thing because those people that I was hanging out with that I did become a man with were all so different. Mm-hmm. But yet when we come together, it's a great unison. It's harmony. You get what I mean? So it's like, I might not be anything like the people that I hang out with, but when we're together, you can tell that these people, these group of people love each other. These group of people respect each other. These group of people cherish each other. And I feel like that's the most important part of it, as opposed to, man, this is a bad group of people that you're hanging out with.
Watch out for
so
that.
You got to be a bad person.
Yeah, I feel you.
D. Word.
Can I throw in one there?
Before you go. Go for it.
Have you ever been told by your girlfriend like, "Oh, I don't like how you act when you hang out with your boy," because whenever you hang out with that boy, you always act this way or that way? Like, have you ever had that?
Nah. Nah. Here's why. I'll give you a hard no. Here's why. No. I'm not saying it's not. I know it's a thing. I know exactly that it's a thing. For me, no, because my friend group has always been the group. In my small percent of living, like, you're a hater if you don't like how I'm acting with my group, because we are the reason why you're having a good time. So you would never say to me, I don't like how you act with them when you're having a ball when I'm with them. You feel me? So that's my personal experience with that.
Again, I just want to.
All right.
And as a person that's been a part of that group, I can honestly detest it.
Confirmed.
Like, you know what? It's more on you, Adrian. Like, I feel like the phrase puts it on the group of friends, but in life, it's really more on you, or how you want to be. Are you going to be a follower of these people that are doing, negative or positive things, and you know what I'm saying, or you're going to be your own person, and if you have the right group of friends, they will allow you to be your own person, and that person is going to fit in what everybody is doing.
No, it's not. It's not who you are. It's who you want to be. Of course, but again, just for the sake of the word, it's just to kind of trace down a little bit of who you are.
I'm gonna sum this up.
I'll give it a C,
I'm gonna sum this up real quick. Thank you. No, we got our grades. It's gonna come out. Obviously, we can do math. We can do the quick math here. Look, everyone's like, I don't give a fuck what y'all talking about.
I hear y'all.
It is a mid. It's
a
midi.
medium steak.
I get that shit a C.
Yeah. So look. Here's the thing. I think because this is going to grade out one of our lower grades. We got the bracket coming up. We'll have Ed and Adrian back for our bracket shortened episodes and review and stuff. But listen here, I think that this phrase, it has so much depth. The reason why phrases go and they last, because a lot of it, part of our grading scale, the power of it, the speed of it, usually goes over the preference. Like our preference grade usually is the part that doesn't resonate. But the power and the speed of it is what makes a phrase last. And this one, ironically, has so much presence in the essence category, but it just doesn't stand the catchiness, value. And it doesn't. So this is one of the few phrases this season that means better than what it says. Whereas I've come to find that a lot of the other phrases, they topically say a thing that they don't actually do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is kind of the inverse of that. This phrase actually has so much meat to it, but it's like you're gonna have to get through it. It's like ribs. Like to enjoy it, you're gonna have to get dirty. And it's not like so. Before we get out of here, I remember Adrian. I know Adrian. You said Ed can hold it down, or Adrian's gonna hold it down. I don't know which. I actually forgot. Who's gonna tell the people how to find Fancy Bread Miami? Okay, quickly tell us.
Just one word: FancyBreadMiami.com, baby. That's all you need to know.
FancyBreadMiami.com. Go listen. I'm a fan of the pod. Obviously, we're a fan of the guys. Listen up, man. Hey. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
For sure. So before we get out of here, man, we got our one last thing.
The dictionary of misinformation.
Because Ed, sorry, Twin, do you want to do your spiel with your boys?
No. Go ahead.
I just want to make an executive decision. Because Ed chose the grade, Adrian, you choose the letter, bro.
Pardon?
Choose a letter. Any letter. Now, 20, do your thing, because Adrian has never watched the show.
Obviously. So this is one of the actually most popular segments of the show, actually, Adrian. So this is what we do at the end of every show. We ask our guests to choose a letter out of the alphabet. You can't pick X because some petty person already picked X. So you got to use a letter. I love you. Don't play with me. I love you. We have to use a letter, and what we do is we go into our dictionary of misinformation. We just inform people about information that has been misinformed about. So you just pick a letter, and Mari's going to go through the dictionary, and with that letter, he's going to choose something that just that the majority. This is not saying everybody. This is the majority of the people of society has been misinformed about this information that we're about to give you. So just pick a letter.
I'll pick the letter T.
All right, T.
T. I don't know.
Which is, I think we figured it out with T. Since the starts off with T.
Yes.
Sometimes they pick out the, but I mean,
pick any letter in the dictionary.
Hey.
You said pick any letter. I said T.
All right, not T. Pick another letter.
No,
right.
T is
Trust
fine.
me, bro.
T is fine.
I wish I can make that a running segment, a running joke on this thing, but just making people pick the letter.
I'm gonna pass it on to the president.
No,
you pick a goddamn letter.
No. Go pick another letter, man. T is
it, and it's apropos. It's apropos to the guest today. We're gonna talk about tips, gratuity. We're gonna talk about tips today, and let's unmask. Okay, right. There we go. 20, you had to. So tip. Yeah. So the notion that tip originally was an acronym for to ensure promptness is pure folk etymology. It's not true. Did y'all think tip stood for to ensure promptness?
No, I thought it stood for nice things I could buy for myself.
Well, In the sense of giving money to someone, the word goes back several hundred years. The Oxford English Dictionary does not attempt any etymology for tip. It hesitantly suggests that as rogues can't, that is the inside language of common rogues and thieves. So it comes back to like actually thieving and roguing. It comes from another meaning is to touch lightly. So in any case, a tip is almost always given after, not before service. So the popular explanation of its origin does not make much real sense. So tips actually come from stealing, and it's like you to tip is to kind of like touch lightly the things that you're thieving. Don't know how we got to tip being something in the service industry, but the original is like, all right, I'm just gonna tip this here. I'm just gonna tip that as
just a tip.
You paid the bill, baby, but touch a little lightly.
Yeah. Don't
forget to touch a little lightly.
Don't touch that a little lightly. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all again. Fancy Bread Miami in the building. Adrian and Edwin in the building. I appreciate you. 20 as always. 20. You know it. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, all podcast platforms. You can see us on YouTube. We're brought to you by the Underdog Podcast Network. And remember, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with, that value is in the eye of the appraiser. And we will check y'all next week.
Mario, before we get out, I just want to say thank you to all the viewers, man, everybody that click on our show and listen and watch on YouTube.
Thank you,
guys. Please continue to support us. We're going to do big things next season, so stick around, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Man, that was heartfelt.
Yeah, man, because sometimes you don't realize it, bro. Like you don't realize it until it's like put in your face, and then when you told me that, these. We got a lot of comments, a lot of views and stuff like that. I just had to sit back and realize like, this is something that I'm a part of. That's amazing. And I just want to show the people that really support our show, man. Thank you so much. Cause this is something that we cooked up. We didn't think it was going to be as successful as it is. I feel like it has more room to be even better, even bigger. So it's all up to you guys that are listening and you guys that are watching us on YouTube. Like we definitely support you guys and we definitely appreciate you guys. That's what I meant to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, keep doing it. Keep showing us love, and we will make sure that we continue to feed y'all with what we can. All right, y'all. We now will get at y'all next week.
Yeah.